Hello beauties, and welcome back to my channel. It's your girl BeautyBudgetz here, and today we're going to be going over how to budget and budget my paycheck, my last paycheck of January. So if you're interested to see that, please stay tuned. All right, if you're new to my channel I give out jobs. I try to be open, honest, and transparent. And I just need you to like, comment, and subscribe. That's it. That's all. That's all you got to do real quick for me. You know, very easy. So please go ahead and do your little job. Do your little job. You don't want to lose this little job. You just got this job by showing up to my channel today. So make sure you go ahead and do your little job.
You about to lose your job. You about to lose your job. Get this dance. You about to lose your job because you...
Please, 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 please. Thank you. Okay, so let's get right into budgeting. So if you guys, for those of you who do not know, I am a cash stuffer. So I stuff cash to budget. Now, there's a lot of steps in between that, but for the most part, I'll try to give you an overview. What I do is I start with a monthly calendar. On this calendar, I see when my pay periods are and I see when my bills are due. So say this is my pay period on the 5th. Any bill that falls in between there will have to be paid with this paycheck. So I add that up, put it in a budget, and then whatever is left after that bill is what I decide to save. Now, what also is important to know is you have to keep in mind too, for the next paycheck, will that paycheck cover the bills that are coming up the next time around? If it does not cover it, then you're going to have to save a little bit of this paycheck as well. So when budgeting, you have to plan ahead, plan what you're going to spend, what you're going to need money for, bills and all of that. So after I figured out my whole bill situation, then I go ahead and break my bills down. Break my paycheck down, allocate a savings or a category to every single dollar that I'm going to get paid. So no dollar is unaccounted for. I budget all the way down to 0. So that means whatever savings goals I have, whatever holidays are coming up, whatever birthdays are coming up, what I plan to spend in groceries, what I plan to spend in eating out, just every single thing you have to budget for, you have to plan for. Now, of course, sometimes things don't go as planned, but making up a budget and a list for everything, it makes it a little bit easier to save. So for me, I am 1 month ahead on all of my bills. So I no longer have to sit down and see what bill needs to be paid with what paycheck, because on the 1st of every month, I pay all of my bills. What I do each paycheck is I set aside 25% because we get one paycheck a week. So I save 25% of my bills, which comes out to $875 every single paycheck, so that when the 1st comes again, I can go ahead and pay everything on the 1st. In the beginning of the month, I set aside a budget, right? And this is going to be my budget for the paycheck. But what happens is either your paychecks fluctuate and you get less than what you budgeted for, or you get more. When you get more, it's good because you already know with your budget, you've already set aside what you need for that month, right? So when you get more, now you can make a choice on what you want to spend the money towards. You could either blow it if you want, which I don't recommend, or you could go ahead and set some aside. A lot of times people take that extra that they make and put it towards some debt or some bills, something like that. Or a savings challenge. This is where that 100 envelope challenge box comes into play. So for me, for this paycheck, we have an extra $500. That's the money that we got from Etsy. So we added it to this paycheck. So that means I have $500 extra. So not only am I going to set aside the money that I already planned, but something can get a little bit extra. So for this week actually coming up, we do have to pay for some comedy club tickets that we're going to for a birthday party of a friend's. So for that, we're going to need $200. That's going to include drinks, that's going to include the comedy tickets, and that's going to include dinner. Okay, so when you're making plans for like a party or something, make sure you include every single factor into that. Normally I would include gas, but we already, you know, have gas budgeted out every week anyway, so I don't need any extra towards gas. So I know I'm going to need $200 extra on top of what I budgeted for fun money. So what we're going to do is take that extra and put that towards my fun money so that I can be able to afford the fun money, right? So now we still have $300 that we can decide where we want to put the extra to. So all my bills are already set. I don't need to put extra towards that. So I think what I'm going to do is put the extra $300 to my debt snowball to pay off my credit cards. So we budgeted $965 or $650 to go to debt snowball. But since we're going to put the extra to it, we're actually going to pay $950 to debt snowballs to pay off debt. Because like I said, I want to pay off all of my debt by the end of January. So that means I really got to go heavy with debt. So this pay period, we will be doing that. And then everything else is going to remain the same. Or you know what? Actually, it's not. My tithing money. So I always tithe 10%. So actually for debt snowball, we'll do $900. And then for my tithing, instead of doing the $250, 10% is going to be $300. Okay, so now we are all set. So by doing a monthly overview of each paycheck, I can go ahead and take the extra money that I make and spread it out right. Now, if you budget right, if you remember, if you watched one of my TikTok videos, I said for your monthly budget for your paycheck, you should always budget the least amount that you could possibly get, the very least amount. So that means if I normally get $2,700 in my paycheck, but sometimes it can drop down to $2,500, I want to always budget that $2,500 so that I'm never trying to figure out how or so that I never have to lower what I wanted to pay to some of my savings goals. So say my check came back to $2,300, or say my check was $2,500 and I always budget the $2,700, which is the highest that I can get. Well, when that $2,500 check comes and I have this budget for $2,700, now something's not going to get the amount that I planned for. And of course, you don't want that to be bills or your food and gas money. So then you're going to have to lower your expectations on one of your savings money. I always like to think of it positively. So you want to have more money to spread out than to have less. Alrighty, so everything else within my budget is all set. We're going to do everything the same. $75 for food, $70 for gas, food is eating out, $100 for groceries. Like everything else is going to be the same, but the extra money that I got is spread out between my debt, my tithing, and my fun money. So this is why it's important to go ahead and budget for your month. Figure out what you're going to be putting aside each paycheck right at the beginning of the month. And then when you get your paycheck, to budget again. One, because something might have changed as far as your plans. So we did not know that we were going to be going to a birthday party. That kind of came last minute. So, you know, there was no way that I could have budgeted ahead of time for this. But since I did get some extra money, it worked out pretty fine. Now, we're not going for another, 2 weeks. So I could have spread it out between both paychecks, but I don't know for sure, one, if the next paycheck is going to be higher. So then if I would have waited to next paycheck and it's lower than I was expecting, then I might be having to, take money from somewhere else to put to fund money. So we want to try to avoid that as much as possible. Of course, things happen. You can't really account for each situation that's going to pop up, but you can try to be just as prepared as possible. So I'm so excited. This is my budget for this last paycheck of February. I actually skipped a paycheck, so that's why I have an extra budget sheet that's going to be blank. I did not budget each paycheck accordingly, but that's okay, because when you get to a certain financial stability, you can kind of skip a budget every now and then. I did take certain amount of money and still pay off my debt and my bills, so that money is still there, but I didn't put to all of the sinking funds that I save for, which is okay, because it happens. So hopefully this was helpful. Let me know in the comment section down below if you have any questions on what I did, any questions about your budget specifically that I can try to answer for you. But just remember, budgeting is a very personal, so I can't really tell you how much money to save for this. It's really how much do you want to save, or how much are you planning on spending for each goal, and then you can decide based off of your income what you want to do. All right, so that's it. I love you guys so much for watching, and until next time, peace. Bye.